Hello again. Welcome back. This is Becca, going by Nightcat or Nightcat's Meow when online. And welcome back for another week with Linden's scripting language. I have below here, since somebody asked in the comments of, I think it was my last video, how I actually spell Nightcat's Meow. So I'm going ahead and putting it on screen here in post-production. And today we're going to last week we talked about how to create a thing to detect an avatar. This week we're actually going to do a few things with it. And I actually have one a object set up that is all the extra stuff for my black box resing system is stripped out. So it is just the avatar detection. And I did look up the security functions. Unfortunately, of the three main ones that I'm aware of, the ability to add somebody to a ban list, the ability to forcibly teleport a given avatar home, and the ability to eject them from land, I can only really demonstrate the eject from land with myself because I am an estate manager here. Because I rent this sim, I'm unable to forcibly use it to teleport myself home. And I naturally, even if I could add myself to a ban list, that would be a real problem, because then I wouldn't be able to get back into the sim to take myself off the ban list. And in terms of that, doing that with an SL code, I've seen occasionally cause trouble. I actually had been experimenting with something that did that at one point, and when the code put my friend Cheshire, who was willing to be my test subject, on the ban list, it took me like most of a day to manage to get it to let him back off. So we don't want to do that. Another little thing that I'm going to show you all as well that is going to help with making these videos is when I've gone to Google search something, I've usually cut out the search and then simply presented the relevant page of the wiki. But a little project I've been working on for the sim is going to help us keep that all right here. The recording program I use doesn't seem to like me switching between programs it's recording, which is why I wasn't able to program to capture the searches. But I've been creating a HUD for my sim, and it actually does those icons you recognize actually work, including Google search. As you see, I was looking some of that up. Most recent search, eject avatar. Eject from land. So now when I'm looking up stuff on the Second Life wiki, I can actually do it right here in world on this screen. No muss, no fuss. It'll be just as easy to include in these videos as the code I write. So, and if you're curious, yes, that is a working YouTube. I could actually pull up a video here. I'm not really sure what the policies are on playing somebody else's videos there, so I'm not going to do that. You can actually use the text messaging at least. The way this all works is that there's a web browser client built into Second Life, so I might actually be able to use the voice functions in here for Discord and Skype. I'm not 100% on that. But I just got a message from a buddy of mine, and I'm going to let him know I'm recording. So yeah, you can actually put all of those up there. He just said KK. You can actually put anything like that in Second Life. In terms of the video streaming services, though, the only ones I found that actually work in here are YouTube and Crunchyroll. Of the ones I've tried, Netflix does not work, and Hulu will crash the little mini browser, at least in my experiments so far. But to explain what this is before we get on to the ejecting me out to the edge of the sim, it's actually fairly simple. If you create an object, go into the texture tab, switch from material to media, choose, apply. Okay. And you can even type into the web browser up here. If you set it to no modify, I think that that will prevent people from being able to change what it's linked to. Full bright, so it shows up right. I'm not going to play more than a moment of this just to show that it really works.
Sleep.
So you see,
Remember?
that is an entirely legit YouTube. So that should help us out. So I already have a portal prepared to the place I plan to show this. Wishmaster HUD. It is a wonderful thing. I did not create it, but it is a wonderful thing. So, as we had established before, we have the ranging. It takes the size of the object, which gets written into the description so that you can shrink it back down and later after you have it established. And you see right here, set object description to a string, get scale. Half of that in either direction is the edges on that coordinate. So half of it, x minus half of its scale, that's the edge of it on one side on the x coordinate, and then plus half of the scale is the other side on the x coordinate, same thing for the y and the z. All this stuff that we covered last week. I'm actually going to cut this to a very short duration and turn the debug feedback on just to make it easier to go over what we're doing. Yep. It found me. Now, there it is. And now it's found me again, but this time said that I'm in range. I am inside the box. If somebody asks the question, what's in the box? Right now the answer is me. I am the cat in the box. Alright, walk myself out of there. Did not need that. Do need this. We're actually going to mute the general location search call. Because right now, this doesn't do you a whole lot of good just by itself. It just tells you, hey, there she is. We're also going to kill the range scale. Remember, the two forward slashes are making it a comment. The compiler ignores comments. So we're going to make this do something here. Actually, for convenience, I'm going to use my Wishmaster again. No, they are not sponsoring it. I just really like this thing. Save. Demo roof. Submit. Going to be very useful in the next few minutes. So bring this back up. Eject from land, function, eject from land, key, avatar. That's how you tell it who you're going to kick. So just going to highlight that. Since this is actually a prim, if I right click it, it'll treat it like a prim. So I'm Control C. Pop back up here. Control V. And then who. So what this now means is every 5 seconds, it runs its timer where it checks its range and then does its search. If you only need to range it once, you could set these as, you could have these configure in the very beginning and just stay that way. But keeping it, checking this every time means you can move your target box. And again, since the actual dimensions it's using, when the script is saved, are automatically stored in the description field, I could shrink this thing down and it would still scan the exact same area. So if I were to do that, it would still scan the same area. I'm going to leave it big because it serves as a visual reference that makes it easier to see what it's supposed to be doing. So, and we're going to change this because if you're going to build this, you want it to actually communicate with the individual. So we're actually going to turn that off too. And here's another new command for you. Instant message. Boo. You have been ejected from this space by the tutorial security bot. All hail the security bot! Hope I'm remembering that setup right. Yep. The AVI scanner said, you have been ejected from the space by the tutorial security bot. All hail the security bot. And I have been ejected. What this means, pull up my map here, is I'm right down here in the corner of the sim. It dropped me off at the southeast corner. That is literally the very edge of the Linden land. Everything over here is my sim surround that makes it look like there's more space to it. Those mountains there, those are all a giant mesh object. Now, because I'm not banned and I'm not blacklisted, I'm not anything like that, it can't make me go away. And we already covered before why I can't necessarily demonstrate those functions. But I can show them to you looking them up. So home this back to Google. LSL. Teleport agent home. Again, it's run just by key. It works just the same way this other one did. The difference is if you use teleport agent home instead of eject, is it will send them back to wherever their home space is. And there are actually places it will send somebody if they don't have a registered home location. But it's been so long since I've been in that case, I don't actually remember where that is. So yeah. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go back to where I was. Dimensional. Make sure I'm facing a direction where it can res on my land. Load demo roof. Now, this is fine as it is if you want to just kick everybody out of a given space. But that really doesn't do you a whole lot of good. What you probably want to do is have either a whitelist or a blacklist. The difference between a whitelist and a blacklist is a whitelist is anybody who is not on this list gets kicked. A blacklist is anybody who is on this list gets kicked. So we're going to quickly establish an easy way to do both. And I believe I showed you all something like this with door security a few videos ago, but we'll review it here again. list equals lists you put in between these kind of brackets, the completely squarey brackets, and you need to have the keys that you're going to pull. So I'm going to show you how to do that, putting a couple of people on this black list. I'm going to blank out the actual keys, but I'm going to show you how to get them. You pull up somebody's profile, you take everything in that key section, you put it between a pair of quotation marks, you put a comma, and then you add the next person that you want on your blacklist. There's my profile. Cool little bit of custom pony art. A guy from a con did this for me. That pony there, that's actually based on me. I actually have a pirate jacket and custom steampunk goggles, and that was before I dyed my hair purple. Oh, that's the problem. Forgot to close the line with a semicolon. Love your semicolons. I can never emphasize this enough. Love your semicolons. Alright, so we'll go back down to here, where we get the key. What we're going to do is we're going to start with a check for this. If I just forgot how to get the specific point to see if something is on a list. That was it. List, find list. The source and the test. And actually, if you forget, it defines it right here. The source is what you're going to search in. And the test is what you're going to search for. And they actually give the example. You search in the haystack for the needle. If what you're looking for is not found, you get -1. If it's the first entry, you get 0. If it's the second entry, you get 1. So on and so forth. So, Control-C. I told y'all a couple times I don't always remember everything. And being a good programmer isn't about remembering every single detail. It's about knowing how to think the problem through in a way that you can come up with how a computer can go through and do it, and then remembering where to look up the nitpicking details. So, what we could actually do, we're going to search for each individual key. So if who, and because it's treated as a string who, helps if I spell it right, in source blacklist. Is greater than -1. Actually, easier way to do it is less than 0, return. Alright, what that now means is it checks in blacklist for who. If the result is less than 0, the only thing that it can come back with that is less than 0 is -1, and that's as defined up here, that if the test is not found in the source, then return, or basically leave this operation and it'll come back up to the while loop. Since that has to be false, then else if, and it proceeds to do the remainder of the check. So save. What is the issue? Ah, that's right. This has to be a list. So it's a list with a single item. You just put it in the list brackets and it treats it as a list. Bingo. Worked perfectly. Now, since I am in the list, and this only fails if I am not in the list, it should proceed along just fine. There it went. It found me, and it ejected me. And there you just saw my sim surround res in. So we'll go back. We're going to change this to is greater than -1. And now it's treating this as a white list, because it will go off for anybody who's not in the list. Yep, not ejecting me. And let us go ahead and make sure that it's still scanning by re-enabling all that debug code. Stay open. There it is. It loaded, got its scaling information, checked my location, so it knows I'm here. And it knows it's not supposed to do anything to me. So, there you have it. Devlaw. So there you have it. A simple way to create sim security. You've seen the commands for kicking people out completely and just kicking people to the edge of your land. If you're in a subdivided area, this is particularly common on the mainland, it will just send them to the edge of your land. They can walk right back in, but as soon as they hit that secured area, it's going to kick them out again. So hopefully that's a good primer on basic, simple home security, and showed you a little bit about putting the internet back into SL. This was actually created because I wanted the HUD for the sim I'm working on, the superhero sim, formerly a Transformers sim, but I couldn't get enough interest in that, to be something that was familiar and easy to understand, so I formatted it like a smartphone. That gave me the idea of putting internet apps in it. So, but turned out to be really useful for video tutorials. So I'm going to keep using my phone in my videos. So, as usual, any like or comment does help me out a lot. It encourages me, it lets me know that this is being helpful to you all. Questions in the comments, as you've seen a few times, I do try to go ahead and address those, and it tells me what it is you all want to learn to do. Remember, I'm doing these for you all, so it is very good for me to know what you want to learn. And that is it for this week. So I'll have these up usually every Tuesday by noon Eastern Standard Time. So until we have that up again, good day, good luck, happy coding.